Jeunesse family, hope you guys are doing good. Hello and welcome from here out of Dubai and Orlando. This is day 2 actually, the last day of our Elite event, but the most important day actually, because today we have amazing speakers, and the person that I'm going to introduce to you guys in a couple of minutes is the person in this industry, the one and only person that you have to listen to, learn from, but we'll get there in a minute. So first of all, let's see if you guys are awake, if you guys are with us, yes or no. You don't forget our chat box. So we are following everything you do on our chat box, obviously. So if you are awake, if you're ready, just type in ready in our chat box, typing ready in our chat box, and whatever you post on social media today, especially when it's about our guest, don't forget the hashtag lead21, hashtag lead21. Let's see who's ready. I see hello Nider, yes, hello from Portugal, good morning. Let me know you guys are ready, and oh, I see the ready words come up. Great. We see some love, amazing. All right, we are going to well, actually, I am pretty privileged today and honored to be in a position to introduce this person to you guys, because our industry is basically, owing this person a lot. In the last couple of years, he's been doing an amazing job for our industry. He's out there, making it happen, making sure that the world knows our industry, that the world, is aware of us, what we are doing. Almost $200 billion worldwide in this industry, and a lot of people still don't know us or have a wrong perception about us. And he's the one making sure that people understand network marketing, understand direct sales, and that's the reason why we owe him so much. All right, this gentleman was a top leader himself. He built an organization, over 500 distributors around the world in 60 countries. He's an international best-selling author. With the book GoPro, I am sure that 80-90% of you guys have read the book, or at least seen the book. If you haven't read it, you have to do it. You have to do it. And I repeat, you have to do it, because that's exactly what you need to learn. In that book, you will learn exactly what to do in order to bring your business to the next level. That is network marketing at its finest, right? And also, he has founded the Network Marketing Pro company, and throughout the years, he's been doing amazing events. I was privileged to be at this event and latest physical event in Las Vegas, 2019, and I can just tell you guys, it's just a whole other level of learning and learning the skills and knowing what to do. So, please help me welcome to stage Eric Worre.
Hello, my friends. Eric Worre here. Hello to all my friends in Europe and the Middle East. Good to see you. So many friends, so many years, so much excitement. And I'm glad to be able to share with you some ideas on how you can do better, how you can make this next year your best year. It's an interesting time that we live in here in this world. We've gone through 2020, start the year, no big issues, and then all of a sudden, pandemic hits and social distancing and masks and the whole works happens. And when it first happened, I kind of expected everybody to, in network marketing specifically, to slow down and to wait and see what was going to happen. But I was super surprised, and I probably shouldn't have been, to see an explosion of growth inside of our profession. And when you look back at it, it's logical. So many people are looking for ways to be able to earn from home. So many people are looking for ways to be able to be their own boss and take charge of their lives, trying to find ways to do it, because most of the small entrepreneurial ventures were hurt. If you're an Uber driver, it wasn't a great year. If you were operated Airbnb, it wasn't a great year. A lot of people in the gig economy, different types of independent contractors, wasn't such a great year. But network marketing, it took off and continues to grow. And what I think where we would have been positioned 5 or 10 years from now was compressed into this 2-year time frame where the world has realized, wow, it's time to take another look. This is not your mom and dad's Amway. This is a situation where there's some really strong companies like Jeunesse, that are positioned to be able to help people. And that's what's happened, and that's where we find ourselves. So I want to congratulate you on being here. I want to congratulate you on making the decision to join a great company with great leaders, great products, great compensation plan, great timing. But I also want to challenge you to take this year and become a great you. It's not enough to be in the right place at the right time. You have to be a better version of you. You've got to decide that you're going to bring the best you have to the game. And today I want to talk about network marketing. I want to talk about goals for 2021. I want to talk about dream building. I want to tell you some stories about different things that had an impact on me as I was growing through my network marketing career, and some lessons that I've learned in the past 5 years or so from some of the top earners in the world as far as how they are approaching building their organizations. What I will tell you to start is every single company and every single business over a long enough timeline has challenges. Every single one. You can't grow a long-term company without challenges from time to time. Sometimes it might be global situations, sometimes it might be regulatory, sometimes it might be country by country, sometimes it might be supply lines, it could be leadership, it could be a million different things. But I will tell you, to not accept challenges, to not expect challenges is to be naive. You have to understand that businesses are going to have challenges. There's going to be ups and downs. And I will also tell you this. Guess where most of the opportunity lies in the world? Opportunity lies in the challenge. There's opportunity during the challenge. When other people are distracted, if you're focused, you get rewarded. While other people are unsure and uncertain, if you get certain and focused, you get rewarded. When other people are all over the place or worried, if you have confidence, you can get rewarded. So you got to think about whatever's going on in the world and how are you going to use whatever is going on to be able to bring more value. I view all of this as market share. Whether you want to have a percentage of the company's growth in Europe or in the Middle East or around the world, every time when other people are losing ground, if you gain ground, it's double the increase in market share. And who wouldn't want to have a big piece of the market share of a company like this? So think in terms of this being a magical moment. I truly believe 10 years from now, 2030, people are going to look back at 2020 and 21 and say, wow, was that a golden moment for network marketing to provide value to people who are desperately searching for solutions. And the people who took advantage back then, it's like the people who bought Bitcoin for 15 cents a coin. They really positioned themselves well for success. So all of that said, great positioning, great timing, but you got to be great. You got to take action. While other people slow down, you got to speed up. Whatever the average people are doing, you need to do the opposite generally. You know, people are panicking. It's time to be confident. People are too confident. Sometimes it's time to be panicking. I mean, you got to go opposite of what most people normally do. But let's talk about this year. If we're going to do a little goal setting, let's go with some big goals and then let's go with some simple goals. Goal number one, a simple goal. And we'll do it monthly to be able to make it a little bit simpler. What do you want to be earning in December of 2021? What do you want your monthly Jeunesse income to be in December 2021? Write down a number, okay? What do you want to be earning December 2021? What do you want your monthly check to be? Second, what rank do you want to be qualified at in the month of December 2021? What rank? So those are the two big overarching Jeunesse goals. Now we break down, how do you get there? How do you get there? So one way to get there is to do some fresh recruiting. In order to be able to achieve your income and your rank goals, how many new recruits should you bring in over the course of 2021? How many? What would be a number that matches those goals? Think about what that would be and write that down. How many new distributors, how many new customers would help you? I mean, if everybody on the team got 5 more customers, would that help you with the income goal? Would that help you with the rank goal? How many significant lines of sponsorship do you need to have in order to be able to achieve that goal? Write that down. How many countries do you wish to have a business in? How many people are going to be attending the major company events? If the skill set, rate the skill sets of your organization. If you take the network marketing skills on a scale of 1 to 10, and you take your entire organization, what would you rate them as a group on a scale of 1 to 10? Let's say there are 2 or 3 right now. What would be your goal as far as their skills by the end of this year? Think in terms of skill set between now and the end of this year. So you start breaking down, you start with the big one, and then you start breaking it down. And I'm going to start with what I usually finish at, which is whatever your income and rank goal is, I'd like you to double that income goal for December. And hopefully that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Hopefully that scares you a little bit. Hopefully that freaks you out a little bit. Now, if you want to make your first income and rank goal easy, just set your path to double the income and rank goal here. I work with people around the world. I work with top leaders and top earners around the world. And I will tell you, a couple things are consistent with those top leaders. The first thing that's consistent is they're playing too small. If you're a top earner, it's easy to, our business is one of the most forgiving businesses in the world. Once you build it up, you can keep getting paid for a long time based upon the effort that you did a long time ago. So what you can find yourself in is a success coma where you're just kind of hanging around, dialing it in. Nobody could accuse you of not working, but you're not doing the same thing you did to build it. Okay? So that's one area where I coach and help people, is to break out of a success coma. Another area where I work with people is to help them have a breakthrough, their first breakthrough. So I know many of you, you're ready for your first breakthrough. And let me tell you the 5 stages of what it's going to take to be able to do what you need to do and to build a career here in network marketing. Stage number 1 is from $0 to $25,000 a year. And at that stage, the only thing that's required of you is that you follow instructions. That you just do what your leaders tell you to do. You got great leaders in Europe and the Middle East. Do what they tell you to do, and they can show you, if you just be a good soldier and follow instructions, they can show you how you can get up to a couple $1,000s a month just following instructions. Just turn your mind off, do what they tell you you're going to do, follow the leader, and start earning some income for your involvement in this profession. Level 2 is from 25,000 to 100,000. And I will tell you, level 2 is all about hard work. You follow instructions, that'll get you to a certain point. But now you got to work hard. It's not just following instructions, it's working your butt off. And during this period of time, we hear about duplication a lot. We hear that, oh, we want to build a business that duplicates and all that stuff. But in the beginning, you don't have leverage and you don't have duplication. In level 2 of on your path to success, it's almost all you. You're doing all the recruiting, you're helping your team recruit, you're doing the presentations, you're doing the training, you're doing the promotion, you're doing the everything, getting people started, solving problems, taking care of issues, hosting all the Zooms, doing everything. So level 2 is hard work, following instructions as level 1. But that'll get you to 100 grand. But you can't just do the same thing in level 2 and expect to keep going. Level 3, from 100,000 to 500,000, is about duplication. How do you create more duplication on your team? More activity happening where you're not involved, when you're not around. More duplication. That's the focus for level 3. Level 4, 500,000 to $1 million, is all about promotion. Learning how to promote. How do you promote your new product? How do you promote an upcoming event? How do you promote a rank advancement campaign? How do you promote the company itself or the compensation plan? How do you promote? It's different than inviting, and it's different than announcing. Promotion is a very high level skill. The faster you learn how to promote, the more successful you're going to be. And level 5 is $1 million plus, and that's all about influencer and leadership development. How do you develop more leaders within your team? And again, you've got good leadership structure. I will tell you, for these 5 levels, you can right now, every single one of you watching this can follow instructions and do as you're told inside of the leadership structure. You have very good leaders in the Middle East and in Europe. Follow those instructions and start making some money. Then when you're ready, it's time for you to go to work. It's time for you to work very, very hard in order to be able to create a career for yourself. And don't complain about the fact that you have to do everything. A lot of people give up because they're like, I have to do everything. I don't have any duplication on my team. It's just really frustrating. For a while, you're going to have reverse leverage, which means you're going to have to do more than even you get paid for. And then you can kind of step into duplication and start to develop more leaders on your team and duplicate the efforts. Then it becomes about promotion, and then it becomes about influencer development. So these levels of success are going to allow you to kind of understand the path that you're on. Because if you got these goals, and you have this kind of direction, and you understand that this is a career path, then it's really a decision of kind of, what is it going to take to change your life? Let me map out, in my opinion, what it's going to take for you to change your life. 1, decide. For me, I made the decision that I was done playing small. I'll tell you a story. When I I made a decision at one time. I made a bunch of decisions over the course of my career, right? First decision was I was just going to work my butt off, and I was going to make up in activity what I lacked in skill. So I just decided I was going to work harder than anybody else, even though I didn't have duplication. That was my first decision. Not counting my decision to join. I was just trying to get lucky then. But my first real decision was deciding, you know what? I'm just going to work hard. I'm going to be known for working hard. I'm going to be a hardworking young man and make it happen, which I did. My second decision was I was struggling and trying to figure out a way to make this thing work because I was making money, but I didn't have duplication. I was frustrated. I was trying to figure out how am I going to have a breakthrough. And I remember I went to Nashville, Tennessee. I lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Nashville, Tennessee is like a 12-hour drive. I drove to Nashville, Tennessee to go to a wedding, a friend of mine, and went to the wedding. And back in those times, we used to run ads in the local newspaper to try and get leads. You know, that's long gone, right? But I was running ads in Minneapolis where I lived, and there's so many people running ads that it wasn't getting much results. I ran an ad when I was in Nashville, Tennessee, because it was over the weekend, and I just got hundreds and hundreds of phone calls. I went, oh my gosh, I was the only person running an ad down here. What if I went to Nashville, Tennessee, and I just decided to build a business, even for 90 days? So I knew I had to do something. I had this little townhouse in Minnesota, and I had a little family, you know, my son and my wife, and like, okay, I had bills and I had problems and I had all this different kind of stuff. So I just decided to leave all my problems in Minnesota, and I packed up this mint green Pontiac 6000 car, POS I called it, terrible car, and got a little U-Haul, drove to Nashville, Tennessee, the three of us, and did some negotiating and rented an apartment in Nashville, Tennessee to run ads and do some meetings for 90 days during the summer. And it was okay. It was all right. During those 90 days, I forgot all of my problems in Minnesota. I left them all behind me. I wasn't even thinking about them. Wasn't thinking about my bills and wasn't thinking about my bank statements and wasn't thinking about nothing. I was just focused on growing my team in Nashville. And after 90 days, I built a little team. It was nothing, you know, to go crazy about. Built a little team, but it was time to go back. So we went back. My wife and her sister were going to drive separately because they wanted to stop at a friend's on the way back. Her sister came down to help us back up. I drove back with the U-Haul one day ahead of them. And I'll never forget, I got to the townhouse. This was in August, and it was, I don't know, 7 o'clock at night. The sun's starting to come down, and it was hot, right? And I walk up to this townhouse, and I can tell something's wrong. And I told you I left my problems behind. While I was gone, I had not paid the electric bill, and they'd turned the electricity off in my townhouse. So it was all black inside, and I could tell there was something wrong, and I was getting close to the door, and a big pile of bills. And mind you, that the electricity had been turned off for over 30 days. So there was a refrigerator full of food that had gone bad, terribly bad. And a freezer full of meat that was rotten. And when I opened the door, it was like getting punched in the face with the smell. I mean, it was so bad that you could literally wipe your fingers on the walls, there's like a film on the walls of the smell. It was terrible. And I never felt lower in my life. I felt like I must be the worst provider in the world. I'm the biggest loser by far. What am I going to do? My family's going to be home tomorrow. I got to find a way to clean this out. Maybe I can clean this out. Maybe get some water or air filters in there or something. So I called my brother up and I said, would you come over and help me clean this out? Because I can't face this on my own. And he agreed. He came over, and I'll never forget, we had this little deck that was just over the one-car garage and off of the kitchen. And opening up the freezer and grabbing these bags of dripping meat and having them drip across the floor, going out onto the deck, and then dropping them into the garbage cans below, retching as I'm doing it. Just going back, just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, dripping, dropping them, going back. And during one of those trips, I said, you know what? I'm not living like this anymore. I am done. I am done almost doing this. I am done almost being a network marketing professional. I'm done trying to get lucky. I'm done looking for timing and positioning. I'm done. I don't care what I got to do, but I'm not living like this anymore. I'm just not doing it. I'm done apologizing. I'm done being embarrassed. I'm done with all of it. So you know what I did? I walked back to the kitchen. I opened up the freezer. I stuck my head in. I went, I can smell it today. Not a good smell. But you know why I did that? I did that because I wanted to remind myself that this is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not going to live like this. So every time it got tough, I think about that smell and say, nope, 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 going to do something different. So at that moment, I didn't know what the change looked like, but I was mad and I was embarrassed, and the house was unlivable. We tried, but it took like 2 weeks before we could move back into it. It was a disaster. Got everything turned back on. But number one, I said decide. Number two, I think, for me at least, I needed to get mad. Say enough of this. What Jim Rohn used to call the day that turns your life around. He said that a Girl Scout came to his house and gave a great pitch and tried to sell him cookies for $2. And he lied to the Girl Scout. Said, I got plenty of Girl Scout cookies. Thanks for coming. But the truth was he didn't have $2. And he closed the door and he said, I just lied to a Girl Scout. I'm not living like this anymore. The day of disgust, the day that says, enough is enough. So that was it for me. And I didn't know what it looked like until like 2 months later, literally 2 months later, I went to the company convention. That's the moment when I decided to go pro. I decided to let lucky, be in my past. I decided I'd rather be good than be lucky. And the other thing is I stopped waiting for someone else to force me to become what I needed to become. I became my own boss for the first time. It's like there was two Erics. There was Eric number one, who was the boss, and there's Eric number two, who is the worker. And Eric number one became tough. Eric number one is like, you ever gonna get out of bed? You gonna do the work necessary? Are you gonna just waste another day? And Eric number two would try and throw up his excuses, and Eric number one was not having it. I really decided to become my own boss. And decided I was going to separate myself from the crowd every possible way. I haven't talked about this in a long time, but I'll tell you now. I came up with what I called my silver bullet theory. And it sounds strange when you say it this way, but I'm going to say it. This is what worked for me, so I'm just going to share with you. If you only had one bullet and you wanted to hurt the organization the worst, who would you use the bullet on in the field to hurt the organization the worst? And I wanted that bullet to be mine. Doesn't sound weird to say it that way, but that's the truth. I didn't want anybody else to be viewed as the most important. And I started with who is the MVP of Minneapolis. And I worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked until I owned the bullet in Minneapolis. And then I said, okay, who has the bullet in the Midwest of the United States? And I became the guy. And I'm not saying I became the guy in the company, but I became one of, if you wanted to hurt the organization, I became one of, and this is just what I use to motivate myself, right? The other thing I learned how to do is I learned how to use projects for progress. I turned everything into a project. Everything. Whatever it was a project. And I would build a team around that project, and I would implement that project, and I'd finish the project. The project might be, we're going to get 1,000 people to go to the convention. The project might be, we're going to get 100 people to qualify at this particular rank. The project might be, I'm going to get to this particular income level, or we're going to have 25 people earn the incentive trip, or whatever it would happen to be. I learned how to use projects in order to be able to create more progress, to be able to grow, to be able to make things happen. The other thing I learned is to use comparison only when helpful. So I learned to compare myself to somebody else only if it helped me. So if it was inspiring to me, if it caused me to take more action, if it caused me to move forward, I would learn to use comparison when it was helpful. Comparison/competition. But I learned to not use it when it was hurtful. There were some times that if I compared myself to somebody else, it only hurt me. It caused me to do less action. It caused me to feel like I was worthless. It caused me to feel like I wasn't going to achieve anything because they were just too powerful, too fast, too influential, too much better of a leader, older than me, whatever it happened to be. I use comparison only when helpful. And the other thing is I released other people's opinions. I grew up a people pleaser. I grew up somebody that always wanted to have a pat on the head and be recognized. I grew up that if somebody laughed at me, it was the worst thing in the world. If somebody judged me, it was the worst thing in the world. And you know what I learned to do? Release those things. I released them when negative. I used them again when they were helpful. I had people tell me I was going to fail. I used those for fuel, for motivation. I had people tell me that, I was crazy being involved in network marketing. I used those. But when a good friend or somebody, rolled their eyes at me, or I heard that they were talking down about me, I learned to release those. I released the ones that were hurtful, and I used the ones that were helpful. That make sense? These are just a little playbook that I used in order to be able to create a life. The other thing is I decided to outlast everyone. If there's attrition inside of this profession, I decided to last longer than anybody. I decided to be the last man standing. I decided they could quit, they could complain, they could whine, but I was going to stand longer than anybody. Just some simple things here that worked for me, and you got to find what works for you. The biggest thing is With this decision, I decided that there was only two ranks. There was distributor, and then what is it, Crown Diamond? And Crown Diamond. There was one position number one and position number two in the company. That's all there was. All these other things weren't even ranks. They were just like mileposts down the road. I was here and I'm going here, period. It's just a matter of how long it's going to happen. That's part of the decision. I'm going to the top. I'm not coming back. I'm going to the top. I'm not leaving. I don't care if you go with me. It's not important that you go with me, but I'm going. The other thing I would tell you, I accepted separation. Here's what I mean by that. One thing they don't tell you in network marketing when you join. Have you ever seen a married couple that grows apart? And usually it's one's growing and the other one isn't. One wants to stay and the other one wants to grow. And you see this awkward dynamic happen within the relationship. Same thing happens in network marketing. Happened for me. And I almost let it pull me away from my calling inside of this profession. Because when I got involved, my philosophy was, we're all going to get there together. We're all going to do this together. We're all going across the finish line together, lock in arms. We're all going to win together. So we got involved, we locked arms, and we started walking, and some just stopped. And they weren't going to walk. I'm like, well, come on, we're all going to go to this next rank. And they just said, later. I don't want to wait till later. I want to go now. So I guess I'm going. And I went. And they stayed. And it was hard because I felt like I was leaving them behind. And that wasn't the truth. The truth was they stayed. Let me ask you a question. If you're in the fourth grade, I remember my fourth grade teacher, Miss Crusoe, fourth grade desks and the fourth grade snacks. And remember what your fourth grade looked like, right? So you're sitting in the fourth grade and you hear about this thing called the fifth grade. And you go, So at lunch one day, you say to your friends, hey, what do you think about this fifth grade thing? You looking forward to fifth grade? And they say, fifth grade? Are you crazy? You don't did you know from this point forward, you don't have to go to the fifth grade. You can stay in the fourth grade if you want. And we already know all the tests. And we get a longer recess and we get better snacks at fourth grade. So why would we go to fifth grade? We'll just stay in the fourth. It's fine. So you're like confused. You go to the teacher, like, teacher, I should go to the fifth grade. Fifth grade's not for everybody. You know, you're kind of fourth grade material. You're like, what? You go home, talk to mom and dad. Mom and dad, I'm thinking about fifth grade. Well, fourth grade was good enough for your father and me. What? And let's say in the face of all that pressure, you say, well, I feel like I've got to go to the fifth grade. And they laugh at you and they give you pressure and they put in the full court press to make you feel bad about doing it. That's what happens inside of network marketing. And you pull away and you go to the fifth grade. And some people stay in the fourth grade. And it's painful while they're pointing at you and laughing at you and making fun of you. But to step into your potential, it requires separation. They're creating the separation. You're going through the natural path of growth. So the first time I went through the separation, I'll never forget. We brought in my friends and I went to that next thing and they didn't come. I went, And it felt weird. It felt bad. But just like if you go from the fourth grade to the fifth grade, you start to develop some more fifth grade friends, right? You rank advance, you start meeting some other people, doing these other things, and you think it's over because everybody's moved to the fifth grade. It's not. When you go to the sixth grade, some of those people are going to give you a hard time, say, who do you think you are? You forgot where you came from. You think you're too good for everybody just for going to the sixth grade, and you leave. Some people stay in the fifth, and some people are going to stay in the sixth and the seventh and the eighth and the ninth. I had to learn to accept separation. I had to learn to accept that some people did not have the ambitions that I had. I had to learn to accept that some people were going to stay while I went. And I had to learn how to not feel guilty for their decision to stay. I accepted separation. And I stepped into the life that I deserved. And it was, to this day, I look back at some of those people, and they're still in their little metaphorical fourth grade desks with bigger and bigger bodies in the fourth grade desk, doing the same thing that they've been doing for the last 30 years. And I moved beyond that, and they call me lucky. I accepted separation. And number 10, expand your vision. Expand your vision. What you hear me say all the time is, if there's any epidemic, is people are thinking too small. Expand your vision. What's possible? Expand your vision of what you're going to do with your life. Expand your vision for what you can do to change your country. What can you do to change your region of the world? What can you do to change your people? What can you do to provide a better life for more people if they're willing to take it? Expand your vision for what's possible for you. How much can you give to charity? How many people can you help? How big can your team be? Expand your vision. 3 things you hear me say all the time, and I'll say them again. You need to think bigger. The world is not served by you playing small, and most of you are playing small and you know it. And I don't even care what you're thinking bigger about, but think bigger about something. Think bigger, bolder, more outrageous, more creative, whatever it happens to be. Most people, your imagination can be used one of 2 ways. One is in the negative, and that's worrying about things that haven't happened, but you get them clearly in your mind, and that's what consumes you, is worrying about things that haven't happened. Or you can dream about things that haven't happened that are in the positive. It's the same imagination. And some of you are so practiced on the things that haven't happened that are negative, and you've never even flexed the muscle of imagining what's positive and what could happen for you. Your health, your relationship, your family, your finances, your everything. The faster you get that imagination put into power for you, the faster your future is going to come into focus. You've got to think bigger. You have to think bigger. If your goals aren't a little bit uncomfortable, you're not thinking big enough. Number 2, you need to be stronger. You got to be stronger than your circumstance. You got to be stronger than your upline, stronger than the people around you, stronger than your friends, stronger than the difficulties, stronger than your past. Stop whining, stop bitching, stop moaning, stop complaining, take charge. Step up, stop waiting for somebody else to rescue you, rescue yourself. I remember listening to a story. Guy said he grew up dirt poor, son of a sharecropper. And he said he used to believe in Santa Claus. So he'd write letters to Santa Claus. He'd pray to Santa Claus, I want a new bike. Because his friend down the road asked for a new bike. And his friend got a new bike, and all he got was oranges and apples. He said, well, it must be a mistake. And the next year, he said his friend was asking for something else, football or whatever. So he wrote Santa Claus and asked for a football. And after the second year, all he got was oranges and apples again. He said, the heck with Santa Claus, I'm going to be my own Santa Claus. And I think you need to be your own Santa Claus. You need to be your own rescuer. You need to say, I'm going to pull myself up. I'm going to do what's necessary. I'm going to make it happen. If you keep waiting for somebody else to show up and force you to do what you're capable of doing, what if they don't? You need to be stronger. And finally, you need to move faster. Success loves speed. If you're going to do it, do it. Whatever the goal is, whatever the project is, go, 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 go. Do it fast. Get it done now. Act today. Act tonight. Don't wait till tomorrow. Become a do it now person. And if you got to create a project to go faster, then do that. But success loves speed. It's the name of the game. Go quick. I'd rather see you go quick, unprepared, than to wait forever to have a perfect plan. An imperfect plan done quickly, and you learn as you go. Because here's the thing, most of the learning is in the doing. And speed itself is attractive. It brings energy. It brings people. It brings excitement. It brings passion. Slow and steady starve you to death inside of this business. So look, you've got an opportunity. You've got goals. You've got dreams. You've got aspirations. But you got to turn it into action. Decide that this is going to be your year. Get mad. Use it. Become your own boss. Employ you. Own the silver bullet in your town, in your city, in your region, your country. Use projects for progress. Use comparison only when it's helpful and release it when it's not. Use other people's opinions when it's helpful. Release it when it's not. Decide to outlast them all. When they fall, go good. Another one down. Another one bites the dust. They're not going to get me out of here. Number 9, accept separation. Until you do, it's only so far you're going to go. And number 10, expand your vision. Your tunnel vision, you got to expand it, expand it, expand it. Get around people that cause you to think bigger. Read things and study things that cause you to think bigger. Expand your vision, expand your imagination. All of that's going to help you. So all of my friends in the Middle East and throughout Europe, this is your year if you're ready, okay? But you got to step into the best version of you than you've ever done before. Give yourself permission to do that, and I can't wait to see you sometime very soon in person. Take care, everybody.